Hi everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about a really popular AI tool called Diffit, which is short for differentiated materials. So we're going to go through the basics here, a few changes that have happened recently with the free and the pro version, and just the ins and outs of Diffit. So let's get started. Okay, here we are on the Diffit page, which, just go back to the main area here. You can see app.diffit.me. It defaults to the # topic. But I'm just using the free account here. Pretty standard, at least at the time of this recording, for them to give you a month or two of pro access to begin with, so you can see all of those other features that you can get. But I intentionally put this on the just free version so that I could show you the things that you can do and what you don't have access to. So again, the idea here is that you are differentiating materials, whether that's for grade level or for language. That's probably its biggest strength right there. So up here at the top, you can see the different categories of things that we could create resources for. The literally anything is just a topic, any topic that you might want to teach your students about. We'll do an example in that in just a second. Under books, you can choose a book author and book that you might want to create resources for. So let's say we're going to do 1984 here. I do want to just mention here that you do get a couple of chapters free, but not all of them. That is under the pro version. Text, PDF, YouTubes, and links. This is really anything that you might want to upload, like an article or things that you already have, copy and paste text, or a link to an article or a YouTube video. So these are just really external resources that you might have that you want to create materials for. You can put those inside of here. And then vocabulary words. You can put up to, as you can see here, 20 vocabulary words, and you can create materials based on that. So you might want to just coincide all of your resources with your 20 or 10 or 5 words that your class is working on for that week. Just for the sake of taking a look at the functionality, we're going to go back to literally anything right here. Oh, and before I do, I want to mention up here at the top, everything that you have created will be under My Resources, so you can always come back to other materials. So let me go ahead and just type in a topic here, and then I'll show you the options we have here. Okay, I chose D-Day just so I could show you something a bit more factual. Let's say we're going to put this at the 8th grade level. We'll start with English here, and we have an option here to do informational or fictional. I'm going to stick with informational because I want this to be fact-based. Now the last option we have here is whether we want this to be in pages or in slides. I will show you both of these, but we'll start with pages. So I went ahead and chose to generate the resources. It will take it a few seconds to generate these, but while it's doing that, I'll tell you that we will see, once these are generated for us, a reading passage as well as vocabulary words, some quiz questions, and here are our options. So I'm going to just scroll down quickly to show you everything that we have and then show you some modifications we can make. So here is a reading passage on it and a summary. We have some vocabulary words that came out of that, as well as some multiple choice questions, some short answer questions. And then you can see the start of a activity here, but this is where we start getting into the premium access. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up again to the beginning so I can show you a few things about each of these sections. So within our reading passage here, I'm going to go ahead and click Read Full Text. And when I did that, one of the things you can see is an option here where I can show the sources. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see all of my sources right here. Now, if you're not wild about, let's say, using Wikipedia, we can actually choose to edit the sources and regenerate. So let me go ahead and choose to edit our source. I'm going to unclick both Wikipedias and choose to regenerate. I can also add my own source in here if I want to. So I'll go ahead and let it regenerate. So know that in terms of the sources it's pulling from, you do have some options in terms of eliminating some and adding in your own. Okay, it has regenerated for us. If I click to view the full and I come down here, now I can see where my sources are, and it did not use Wikipedia this time, as well as showing me my sources and showing me each fact and where it came from. So it's a good way to fact check your components as well. I'll go ahead and hide the sources just so that we're just seeing the reading passage. Now from here, we can choose to modify our reading length. We can make it short, medium, or long. We can also choose to modify the reading. If we want to come inside of here, we can tell it to include more details, remove information, and so on. If we like this reading passage, we have a couple of different options here. We can choose to copy the contents, and it will take the contents of this, and you will need to choose where you want to paste it to. In terms of exporting different items, if you wanted to choose to export everything, up here at the top, you can see that we can download it as a PDF, we can print it, or you can send somebody a link of it. Exporting to Google Docs, Slides, Forms, Classroom, or Word are all premium features. So this is the reading passage. We can see, again, we have a summary here. Coming down to vocabulary, we can see that we have several words here. We can choose to modify the vocabulary, increase the complexity, or decrease. We can also choose to add vocabulary. So we can say, pull words from the text, and I want to add 2 more. We can hit generate, and it'll actually go ahead and generate 2 more vocabulary words for us. Same options here. We can choose to copy the contents. We will need to paste it somewhere. Coming on down to our multiple choice questions, we can add questions if we want to. Our only option here is comprehensive, since these are premium options. But we can go ahead and choose to add, let's say, 2 more questions, and it will generate those for us. Once again, we can choose to copy the contents of this and paste it somewhere else. Short answer questions work much the same way. Add questions, we can also choose to modify. I didn't show you that above, but same thing we were seeing before. Increase, decrease, focus on, only include questions about. So you can get a little more specific about your questions. And then again, you can see that we've got our additional activities, and these are wonderful activities, but they are in the premium option. So just so you know, anything that has a crown there is a premium. So if we scroll all the way down, you can see some of the other activities. Again, here's our download and our print if we chose to do that. So this activity that we just did is now going to be saved for us. If we go back to our main page, well, actually, before I do that, let me show you that I can choose to change languages here as well. I'll go ahead and do that before I show you where it's all saved. And I'll go ahead and choose to translate. As this is translating, it will take every component that I just showed you and translate it into the language of our choice. So here's our new resource coming up for us, and here it is translated. As a side note, I did have a couple of Spanish teachers take a look at these for me in a training I had done, and they thought it was spot on. So this is all changing it to a different language. We could change the grade level here if we chose to. So by clicking up here where it says go to my resources, we can go ahead and click there. And you can see all of my resources I have created are here for me, as well as the Spanish version and the English version that I did. And that's also listed right here under my resources. Let me just, to kind of round us out here, let me just show you if I do, let me do one more topic and I'll switch to slides and show you what that looks like. All right, I chose a different topic of volcanoes. I'm going to say we're at the, let's say we're at the 4th grade level. I'll switch it to slides just so you can see what that looks like, and I'll go ahead and generate my resources. Everything else will look similar, the types of information we're getting, but it'll look a little bit different in slides. So we'll let this generate, and then we'll see what our resources look like in slides instead of pages. Okay, so for this, they gave us an image. We have a what do you notice and what do you wonder. We can change the image. Our change activity here, you can see the crown, so we can't actually switch to that one because it is premium. We can give answer lines there too. Again, we could copy, we could export this whole thing as a PDF if we wanted to. You can see here is our reading length. We can show our sources once again, which are down here at the bottom. We can edit just like we did before. We've got our vocabulary. We have got multiple choice questions. Very similar. It's just in a slide format instead. And again, our options are to copy the contents or to export them as a PDF, print them, or copy a link. I'll just show you this one. If I choose to copy a link, and I'm going to go into a brand new window just to show you what this will look like, you can see that somebody can take a look at this from your free link, and then it's telling you if you wanted to do anything else with this, and you'll need to create a free account. But that's what that looks like. So again, this is Diffit. This resource allows us to create differentiated materials based on any topic, books, text, PDF, YouTube's vocabulary, and create reading passages, vocabulary words, quiz questions, and so on based on that topic at any grade level and any language that you're looking for. I hope this helps to better explain Diffit.